Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this new video we are going to see what is APM inspector and how we can install this APM inspector. So do watch my video from full to end to have a good understanding about how APM inspector can help us in automating our mobile native applications. So in order to install APM inspector, what we can do, we can just go here and type APM inspector, download. So you can go here and you can install the desktop apps from here. So since I'm using Mac, I can install this DMG file, but if you are using Windows, then you can install Windows exe file. Once you click on this, it will install that, and you can just search for the application and run it. So say for I have already installed APM inspector on my Mac, so I'm not downloading it again, and I will just search for it and I will open it. So it is launched. Now if you can see here, there are some options like simple, and I mean to start the server simply, or there are some advanced options where we can write the server address and we can start it on some other ports, and then there are some presets, but for now we are just going to focus on the simple, starting the server using simple option. So here we need to give the host and we need to provide the port. We, if we want, we can just change the host or the port, and we can directly click on it to start the server, or if we want we can edit the configuration. So if we click on this edit configuration, we can see that it is picking up our Android home and Java home. So you need to take care that it is picking up your environment variables correctly, otherwise it will be not working. It won't be able to work in identifying the elements and these kind of things. So now since my configuration is good and my Java path and Android home is configured correctly, I will just click on start server. So I'm using 1.20.2 version of the APM inspector. Okay, so maybe I will just try to start on this 4724 port. So here you can see my server is started, the server is running, and it is showing me some logs. So these are three options. So from here I can just stop the server, and if I stop the server, I will just go back and I will come back here. I'm starting the server again. So this option is for capturing the logs. Whatever logs which are generated here, I can capture it here. And this option is for starting the inspector session. So once I click on this option, I will get a pop-up something like this, and in this pop-up there are certain options like automatic server, custom server, source labs, select cloud providers. So if I want to use any cloud providers like source lab or a perfecto or any other, I can just configure them with the API token, but for now I will keep it simple and I will work here on automatic server. There are certain advanced setting, but you won't be needing it that much. So here you can see like I can add all the desired capabilities like device name and value. I can enter something like Android. So here it will save all the data as a JSON, and it will keep on adding them. I will change it to Samsung and Android. So you can just save all the desired capabilities and then you can save it, and if you want you can start session. So I already have some capabilities saved, and here you can see that I have saved the capabilities for this Android practice, and it is having the platform name, device name, app package which I want to launch, app activity, no reset, automation name, and the path of the application. Now if I will start this, what will happen? Okay, so let me launch my device. Okay, let me launch my Android device. So you already see I have this application, and I have defined all the desired capabilities here with the app activity, app package, and app path. So what I will do, I will just start session. So if you want you can add the desired capabilities and save it if you are not having any saved capabilities, but I already have this saved capability, so I will just start the session. So it will be logging all the logs here, and if you want you can just install those logs. So it will launch the app on the simulator once we do that. So yeah, so here you can see that there is one part of the API inspector where I can identify the elements, and if I click anywhere you can see that all the locator IDs and strategies and attributes it is showing. So if I want to find element, then there are certain options like accessibility and XPath. I can make use of these things to find the element and perform some actions on the device. So it will work similarly for iOS application also. So here it is giving me some attributes and values of the application like element ID and the index. So if we can see here, it is like 0 1 2 3 4 5. So this is at 5 index, then this will be at 6 index. Similarly it is showing me the package and the class which it is supporting, and the text that is having, and all this content this can be used to write the locator strategy to identify the elements and these resource IDs. Apart from that, these attributes can be used to validate or maybe assert something, if your element is clickable or not, and these kind of things, if it is long clickable or not, if it is displayed or not, you can assert these things if you want to validate. Then here if I tap on this, it will just perform a click on this device and it will open it. So if I tap here, it will just open it. Now for send keys, suppose there is any text box, let me find any text box. So say for example I want to send keys. Okay, it is not a send keys. So let me find if I can perform send keys anywhere. So So yeah, say for example I want to send any keys, I can just tap on this and I can just send keys. So it will just type this thing here. Okay, let me refresh it. So if I want to send any keys, I will just write something and I will send it. So okay, maybe I need to refresh it. Yeah, so now if I am sending any keys, so it will send it here. So yeah, you can see here that it is sending the testing keyword. So likewise, if you want to enter any text, you can just utilize send keys. You can just tap and then send keys, tap on send keys, then whatever keys you want to send, you can just type and you can send keys. Then clear is for clearing the. So clear is for clearing the data, so it will clear all the data which is there. And apart from that, they here you can see the app source and actions which you can utilize for the device, session, web and the context. And in the source, if you want to identify elements, sometime you need to go back. Say if I want going back and see I'm not able to identify this 6 bar by clicking on it. So what I can do, I can just narrow down my search and I can keep going down until I'm able to find the element with seek bar. So likewise you can just try to find out the element. If it is not able to directly find the element by clicking on it, you can go inside the app source and try finding the element. Then if you want to swipe by coordinates, you can just use this functionality to swipe by coordinates and it will do the swipe. And then here if you want to tap by coordinates, you can just use it to tap by coordinates. So why these things are important? These things are important. So if I go back, so this is for going back and this is for refreshing. Say I'm here and I clicked on this. Now I am not able to see the session, right? So what I can do, uh, so now what I can do, if I go back and I can see this page but I cannot see this page, right? So in order to see this page again, what I will do, I will just click on this refresh and it will show me this page again. So here if I want to record some steps, I can do that. Say for example I record, I play on this record button and I will click on this and I will say tap. So so here it is a record button. What record button will do, if I will start recording and I want to click on this, then I need to click on tap. So it will keep on recording everything. Now if I pause recording, you will see some code is generated. So you can utilize this code in your automation script if you want. Then here if I want to search any element, say for example I am going back, I will just pause this recording. So here if I want to search any element, maybe accessibility, I can just try to search it by accessibility. So it is not able to find this. I think okay, let's find by name. No, not supported. Maybe with accessibility ID. So yeah, you can see that if I click here, it is highlighting this. So if you have some experience in identifying the element, you can directly go on search and try creating your own locator strategy to find the element. So likewise you can use different options here. And then if you want to copy the XML, so all these information, if you want to copy, then you can copy it, and if you want to utilize it in your code, you want to find the element, you can just find it through the XML. So this will quit and close your APM inspector. Here also, like in the record, I told you, like if you want to record your script in WebDriver, it will help you in writing your it will help you in recording the script in WebDriver, Oxygen HQ, JavaScript, Python, Ruby, Robot framework. So yeah, so this is how like APM inspector works, and it will help you in identifying the elements with different ways. So in the next video probably I will be making like how to identify the elements, like using accessibility ID, XPath, and these kind of things. So do subscribe to my channel, and share my videos with your friends so they also get to know something new. And drop me a comment if you would like to make me any particular video on any particular topic. I would be glad to do that. So thank you.